Yeah. Golf shot. Oh. Shot. Stay. Okay, so here is the tee shot on 2. I mean, we'll see it a little bit better from the other angle, but can already see sort of the balance points in the knees and the tilt of the right shoulder a little bit too much. The other thing we didn't speak about, I think we can just soften the swing out just a little bit as well. And that's going to be really cool, and you're going to pick up some distance with that as you soften your hands and use the shaft better. So you can kind of see, right, the kind of a little bit rigid and whatever, but shoulders are aiming up there, feet are aiming there, and then we'll see from the other angles. I mean, obviously you set up differently with the irons, but you'll see what I'm talking about. So the setup's going to get neater and more neutral as we go as well. Okay, and then from there, mate, I mean, you swing it pretty good, and obviously after we spoke, trying to translate those ideas and kind of use your body a little bit better is going to help. So let's have a look here. So when I draw this line, so this is 2Ds, but we're basically talking about the angle of your circle, right? So that's kind of step 3 and 4. We'll get into that. It's just for me to kind of have a look and just also check how neat things are doing, any unnecessary moving parts, etc., etc. Okay, so you can see there, if I have to make a circle out of swinging, it's going to have sort of waves and issues to it. Little bit short, a little bit tight in the hands, and you can see the kind of the legs have changed angle a little bit. So these are all just unnecessary moving things, right? That's all I'm saying. I'm not saying we need to work on one or the other. Just the new idea and sort of neater and softer. That's what we're going to try and do. Okay, and then from there, kind of pull your head backs away a little bit, as you can see. And these are the manipulations you're making. Okay, and then what you do really well is obviously you hit the middle of the face. That you're so good at. Okay, but a combination of the setup and the idea and the moving parts, you know, some go well and some don't. Okay, but a lot of good stuff there and a lot of athletic stuff, mate. Okay, and then here's where we can see there's sort of a lot of issues and manipulations happening. Checking your target, which is good. Okay, but you can see the feet are wide open, kind of tucked in that left knee just a little bit, and then from there the shoulders are, you know, quite tilted, which basically means that the spine is tilted backwards. That's really what the issue is. Okay, and then we'll see from here the stiffness in the hands that I'm talking about. Okay, and then without realizing it, okay, watch what happens to the right knee here. Okay, a little snap back of the right knee. Okay, so all these things are just, we don't need to work on them. I'm just showing you the cause and effect and the unnecessary movements that are happening. Okay, nice wide takeaway, club face beautiful and square, shoulder turn excellent, but you can already see the right hip and the height changing. Okay, and then quite stiff in the hands, not a lot happening in that shaft. Again, because of the manipulations, a bit of a stand-up happening. Okay, and a definite early release. Okay, so we'll learn about these things later, but in this part of the swing, we'd want the left hip open, probably the chest forward, and probably want the club head still back here. Okay, so definitely sort of leaning up and back and scooping that just a little bit. Okay, and then from there, balance, athleticism, speed, rotation, all excellent, mate. Those are all do all the hard stuff really, really well. Hey, my mate. Okay, so there's a kind of in-depth assessment and analysis of sort of what we talked a little bit about after the round. And please understand, when I'm going through that, I'm just trying to do a really full assessment of what's happening, where the inconsistencies are coming from, etc., etc. So a lot of the things that I've shown you there in those videos, you don't need to work on. You just need to understand that it's bad. We don't want to have those moves, because then it's just a complete series of manipulations. So your chances of returning the club back to the golf ball in a similar fashion time after time is just, it's almost impossible. So just kind of playing with a little bit of hope and luck, okay? But that should excite you, because that should be like, shit, okay, if I got all this shit going on, I'm still managing to hit quite a lot of good shots. So if I can sort this out and neaten this up, my golf is just going to go this way. So don't look at it as a negative thing, and don't look at it as I need to work on any of those. They are going to, our plan is to eradicate them. We're not going to work on individual things, okay? We're going to kind of reassess this idea and basically change the whole movement pattern. So the movement pattern of your body, a movement pattern of your arms and your golf club, let them react to one another with this new idea, okay? And we're just going to do little drills along the way for the first few weeks, okay? And then we're going to see from there how many of those movements are now eradicated, okay? And that's kind of the plan. So just kind of get rid of them, change the idea and the movement patterns naturally, let them happen more correctly, more cause and effect, okay, as you learn them, all right, and then more specifically as we go, okay. I would also like to, and what I've put in my notes there is, I would like to soften the swing out a little bit as well, okay. I think it's a little bit tense and rigid, okay, and we haven't learned how to use this shaft correctly, okay. Now, the shaft works as a byproduct, essentially, of the things that we do, all right, so we are going to get into that, and I'm starting to work a couple of drills into that anyway. Okay, so don't stress about that, but that's kind of our plan. Neater, more efficient, different movements, okay, and a little bit softer and more, see, athletic's not the word because you're very athletic, but just that, you know, when you play with really good players, it's got that sound and that feel, okay. So that's kind of the plan that I've laid out for us, okay, and obviously very much short game based as well, okay. Right, so let's just track there again, or backtrack in terms of what we spoke about. Okay, so there are slight variations as you get really, really into it. We don't need anything like that right now. Okay, but essentially what we're saying is this golf swing is a circle, all right? So we have to understand the idea, the principle, try and figure out how to move our body to make that circle, how our setup influences that circle, okay? And then obviously the low point of that circle. So we've got the center point of the circle. We've got the angle of the circle. You don't have to worry about the angle of the circle. You do need to worry about the center point of the circle. And then we've got the low point of the circle. Okay, so it's not too much. Don't worry. I'm just explaining the broad fundamental idea. Okay, so that's all it is, right? Okay, so we are trying to, okay, with short game, we're trying to neaten, well, with all the game, we're trying to neaten and control that low point of that circle. And then we're going to learn with the different clubs how to change that low point of the circle with our setup. Okay? So if you set up like this, now obviously my low point is moved. Okay, if I then start to make adjustments, okay, then obviously that low point is all over the place. There's just no way to get it consistent, right? So we want to get this thing as neat as possible. Shoulders level, hips level, knees level, feet level. Okay? And then make a little body pivot and try and keep it. So then obviously any moving around is going to affect it, right? So we make this little turn. That keeps the circle constant from that angle and the center point, but it also creates a very, very nice and consistent and controllable and reliable low point. Okay, so that's kind of the ideas we're after. Okay, we're also just going to soften these hands out a little bit. So we let the weight of the club head just react a little bit, just for that little bit of touch, and then obviously with the full swing for that little bit of snap. Okay, so that's kind of the idea we're after, right? And then from this side, it's setting up feet and shoulders together, parallel, positioning that circle where we want, okay, and then getting the face and the club to travel with my body on that circle. That ball just gets in the way. Okay, so that's the fundamental ideas we're after. Okay. Especially from this side, easier said than done. I just say that like it's not. Okay. And a little bit of timing or whatever, and it can go wrong. But that's how we're going to learn it, and then we'll learn what your tendencies are. Is it early? Is it late? Is it offline? Is it face? Whatever it is, we'll adapt it as we go. But these are the fundamental ideas we need to not because you haven't learned them, we need to teach you. Okay, and that's our step forward. Okay, so we're going to start there with short game. And just a quick one there, how we're going to do this. We're just going to do drills for now. Just little drills just to let it happen. You're going to have this idea on the golf course. On the golf course, you're disciplined in the idea and the setup. Okay, and that's all you're doing. And then you do your drills before you're around. Okay, and we let this thing settle down, neaten up, and soften over the couple of weeks. And then we start to adapt as we go, right? So that's the plan. Right, so let's start with short game. So we're going to do a short game. Okay, very, very neat. We're going to feel like our shoulders are level. They won't be because we grip the club right hand under left, but it must feel level. Okay, feet together, hips level, so no tilting of the hips and knees. Okay, for now, I want you to have this thing out in front of you. Keep the face nice and square. Okay, and just kind of drop it in. Okay, feel any unnecessary tilts. Drop it in. Okay, and then from there, the ball position for now is going to be, because our feet are together, it's going to be slightly on that right toe. Okay, it's just a hair of lead there. Okay, and then we just make a little pivot, shoulders and core, and we just make this little circle. All right, and we allow the club to bounce. So we allow the club to brush the ground. We don't hit down, because then the circle and the angles change. Then we don't know what's happening, right? So we allow the club just to, within the circle, using our body rotation, just to brush the ground. Okay, once we figure out that low point consistently, okay, striking a chip and a pitch and a bunker shot is easy. Okay, it literally is easy. Yeah, the other stuff, yeah, is much harder because it's moving parts in the face and you can't control it, and you're looking here and it's high speeds. Okay, but the chipping is actually really, really easy. Whether you chip it close is another thing. That's a bit of touch and practice. But striking it, easy. I promise you. Okay, right. So what I want you to do is this. Okay, if you're not, if you're hitting off grass, we'll figure it out. But if you're hitting off mat, really cool. Just get some chalk. Okay, and just make a, draw two lines, little box, maybe a foot. So go a little bit wider than what I've gone there. Okay, you can, for now, put the ball in the middle of the box, right in the middle there. Okay, but stand next to the ball, not hitting the ball yet. Okay, so everything neat, club square, drop it in, feet together, bounce the club, or let the club bounce, maybe is a better way. Okay, so those were all exactly the same spot, exactly perfect. Okay, right at the back of the ball. So not ahead of the ball. Your general chip and pitch from the fairway is actually good to be just right at the back of the ball. You don't need to be ahead of it. You only need to be ahead of it out of the rough. And then all you would do out the rough is just go like that and make the same pass. And now you would catch it just slightly on the way down, just all by itself, right? Okay, so you just do those, and you can try and do like 10 in a row, where everything is just neat, shoulders, bounce the club, same low point all the time, just let it happen by itself. Okay, and once you got 10 in a row within the thing, you haven't disturbed any of the lines, you haven't missed the ground, then you can start hitting chips. So then bring the ball in, do the same thing, hit little chips. Okay, I can't hit this one, I'm heading to the wall. Okay, but just do the same thing, hit the chip, feel how you strike, look down and go, okay, did I disturb any of those lines? Okay, once again, if it feels good, you do 10. Try and do 10 every time, feet together, there, bounce the club. Okay, 10 of those. Okay, so just start with that, just like 15, 20 meter shots. Just stand on the range and just chip them. And just see how good your low point control, your setup, and your strike is. Okay, and then obviously we're going to build some speed into that later in terms of the 30, 40s, over bunkers, etc., etc. But that's baseline. Okay, also, once you get there, we can start learning every shot. little lower ones, little higher ones, rough, whatever the case may be. Okay, it's all based on that. Okay, so I want you to do 10 without. Can you bounce the club? Can you set up nicely? Can you not disturb the line? If you can do 10 without, then you go 10 with the ball. Can you execute 10 in a row? Okay, right, so that's how we start with the short game. Right, then on the range, just grab like a pitching wedge, something like that. Okay, very, very similar ideas, as neat as possible. Shoulders, hips, and knees into your tilt. Club out in front of you. Okay, we're going to keep the feet very, very narrow, almost touching. So less than a club head apart. Okay, and we're just going to hit little shots down the range. And as we have that idea of just kind of being neat and tidy, turning this way on the circle, turning this way on the circle, your follow through should look like that, not like that, or like that, or like that. Okay, complete the circle on this side, hold it there, chest is facing, nice and balanced. Okay, then you can slowly start to add length and speed as you go. So start off very, very slowly, everything neat and tidy, little circle, and off you go. Okay, as you get more comfortable, go, okay, cool, that feels good, the strike is good, the balance is good, they're going pretty straight. Okay, then we just add some speed. So keep your feet where they are and just add a little bit of speed. So go a little bit longer, a little bit faster. Make your little circle. Intercept the ball. Hold the follow through, nice and balanced. Okay, you can see how close that one is. Okay. Very, very neutral. And then build up, not quite to full speed, but I think you can get as close as 80, maybe 85%. With exactly the same setup and drill. Okay, so feet very narrow, less than a club head. Neat, neat, neat. Drop it in. Just adjust the distance from the ball if you need to. Drop it in, everything neat. Okay, full swing this time. We're going to keep our balance, 85%. I can actually go a bit further, faster than that. Okay, keep the balance. See how straight that is. Keep the balance. Okay, and off you go. Okay, so I want to do a lot of, and again, you can just do this in your warm-up. You said get there an hour before, a little bit of that drill, a little bit of feet together drill, some pitching wedges, 8 irons, 6 irons, drivers, even drivers, same drill, everything neat. Don't add anything yet. If we need to do that to add angle of attack, etc., we will, but for now, neaten it up. Okay, we can't set up like this with a driver and hope to know where the ball's going. Right, so nice and neat. Okay, and then in between that, normal stance, little half shots. Okay, so let's say we're going to do like 5 pitching wedges, 5 8 irons, 5 6 irons, 5 4 irons, 5 drivers. Let's say we're going to do that, right? So then in between each round, so once you've done your 5, before you change from pitching wedge to 8 iron, okay, I just want you to do a couple what we call slap drill. Okay, now again, these are going to be sort of slower 3/4. It's just to soften out. Okay, so don't worry too much. That's your big ideas and your drills are that. Okay, just do like 3 reps. You can do normal stance with focus on being very neat though. So no tilting, everything. Okay, and what we're going to do, we're going to release the right hand and we're going to run the middle finger down the shaft. Okay, so we're going to run it square to the club face, down the shaft like that. And we're keeping it open, so no gripping of the club, just only the middle fingers on the golf club. Okay, your palm is kind of on your left hand, almost on your left thumb. Okay, there. All right, and we just hit 3 little ones like that. Okay, and again, if you use your body right, you see how square and soft that is. Okay, and if you use your body right and your setup's good, you can hit them okay. You don't hit them very far, but you can hit them okay. All right, so just like 3 of those in between each round. So you got your feet together, you're warming up, you're creating speed. Before you change clubs, just quickly 3 normal stance with little slap drills, 3 of those. Okay, and then you can change and go back again. 8 iron, do your feet together, drills, build up the speed, the balance, the neatness of rotation. Okay, and then 3 quick little ones. And again, driver at the end again. 3 quick little ones with the slap drill, full stance. When you do full stance, everything neutral. Obviously, ball position forward. Okay, 3 little slap drills. Okay, and that can be your work for the week. All right. Okay, and then obviously you got your little short camp stuff as well. Okay, so quite a lot there to start off with from, but explaining the other stuff and your own tendencies. Okay, and now what we're going to do, just designing little drills to neaten everything, start to feel and understand. As we go, we'll then start to think about, do we need to get more specific? So have you tried this, but it's a little bit out of sync, or the angle slightly wrong, or the ball position slightly wrong, whatever the case may be. Okay, but right now it's all about different movement patterns, different idea, neat as possible, and nice and soft in the forearms and hands. That's our game plan. Okay, got that? Right, let me know if you need anything else. That's enough for now. It's a long video, sorry. Okay, but look forward to this, mate. I really think single figures quite easily, and then, yeah, I don't know where we're going to go with this. You seem very dedicated and focused, and obviously you've got time, so I'm very, very excited about this journey. Let me know if you need anything else, and enjoy your practice and enjoy your week, and let me know how it's going, obviously, and I'll talk to you soon. Thank you, mate.